Paul Tweed in Belfast. Paul, you're very welcome to the programme.
Good evening.
Just picking up there on Andrea's point about, that there shouldn't be a cosy relationship between the overseeing body and the police force, and that perhaps, that there is a fractious relationship. I mean, that's something familiar up north, isn't it? I mean, the PSNI, it took a long time for a working relationship to be established with the Police Ombudsman's Office.
Yes, and there's still, I think there would be that level of tension that Ger was referring to, in all police forces, between an overseeing body. But the whole key here is there has to be public confidence in the Ombudsman, because, from the fallout from the bizarre situation that has arisen here over this debate over GSOC and what has happened and what hasn't happened. Most people reading the papers over the past couple of days will have formed a view, fairly or unfairly, as to what's happened here, particularly against a background where we've had Edward Snowden's revelations and the allegations about the US government intercepting the phone of the German Chancellor and whatever. Perceptions are being created, and that is potentially grossly unfair to the Gardaí. And so, the important thing here is that if you have got an overseeing body, it's got to maintain credibility, and to maintain credibility, they've got to act decisively and clearly and maintain that confidence of the public. And my concern here is the way that this is beginning to drift here. Certainly I'm confused by what's going on, and I've been trying to sort of take a fairly keen interest, because privacy would be one of the areas that I'm professionally interested in, and I'm confused, I would have to say, as to what's happening. But I should point out, Ger, that Ireland has 4 years ago a new Defamation Act was introduced, and many of the problems that you're referring to back in the late 70s have been dealt with by that new legislation. The Irish Defamation Act was actually used as a good example when the UK Ministry of Justice were considering the reforms to UK libel law, and it was generally believed that Ireland had got it right, not only in terms of the defamation legislation, but in terms of the office of the Press Ombudsman and Press Council. So, I think it's grossly inaccurate and misleading to refer back to the situation in the 70s when we have a new law in Ireland which I think operates very fairly. What do we want? Do we want to introduce, say, the National Enquirer into Ireland?
No, of course
Is that the standard we want to go by?
You know that we don't.
Yeah, when we have, the Irish press, are among, as I said at the outset, the most respected in the world. And it is because the reporters, the journalists who are doing the research and the editors have this additional, and yes, OK, it is additional pressure on them as a result of our libel laws, but it means that we can believe to a large extent what we read in the press. Well, two things. First of all, the jury that you're talking about, you're talking about 12 dubs who are making the decision on, based on their own experience, their own they listen to the evidence, they make their own assessment. Probably of the 12 jurors, a few of them are Daily Star readers, and I think we've got to trust the ordinary man in the street, and it's the only opportunity he gets to express his view, whether it's distaste or otherwise, of the conduct of the media. And to deprive him of that, it means that not only is he being deprived of the right to get access to justice for himself, but he's been deprived of the right to pass judgment.
I'm not saying he
others.
should be, by the way. I agree with juries.
And I say, and you're correct, in England they are, in all but the most exceptional of cases, they're going to remove the juries, and it's the last bastion, in my view, for the members of the public to actually participate in the libel legal process. And in my view, the juries should be maintained. And in the case that I've been doing this work now for 35 odd years, and I was involved, and I'm old enough to remember the juries in personal injury cases as well, going back a long time. And in my experience, they normally got it right. They're able to see through the nonsense very, very quickly on witnesses, and they take a view, and they normally do come to the right conclusion.